What's going on, people? RCX MMA here. Today I wanted to talk about uh, something that got brought up last week during the media scrums by Bobby Green. Bobby Green essentially accused Islam Makhachev and then by extension Khabib of using steroids. If you like the content, like and subscribe. And check out all my other videos. I do full fight reactions and betting breakdowns as well. So go check those out. But during fight week last week, on about, probably Thursday, Bobby Green was asked about the strength of Drew Dober. Bobby Green said he wasn't too concerned about the strength of Drew because he had fought Islam Makhachev. And he said, I told my guys, I told my team, I said that there's something different about him. And he said there's something weird, like he's superhuman strong. And then he says, and he tells stories about being when he was a kid and at school in the athletic programs, and they would just force you to take like vitamins and stuff like that. And he's like, and we know how they get down in Russia and blah 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 blah. And then essentially went on to accuse him of taking steroids. Now this is quite fucking hilarious coming from a guy who just got back from his suspension from USADA. He claims it was a tainted supplement, but I think typically that is a bullshit excuse. You are a professional athlete, motherfucker. You should have your shit tested. You shouldn't be buying your shit at Walmart. And he was extremely weird all throughout fight week, actually. At that same scrum, the same media day scrum, he, when asked about the drugs, just like looked up at the sky as if he was praying that like Michael Chandler doesn't try to adopt him or something. It was real strange. I don't know. And he seemed to be a little extra ADD this week, and then I think that played into him getting knocked out. I made a video about that. You should check it out. But at first when I heard that, I thought, that's bullshit, because it made me think of Dustin Poirier being on the Joe Rogan Experience. Joe asked him a similar question. It was more direct, though, about Khabib. And Dustin said, no, he's not strong. He's not super strong. Like, he's not stronger than any of the guys I've fought. It's not strength. He said it's like knowledge. It's the leverage. The knowledge of like how to manipulate a human body, where he needs to be able to move Dustin. Just technique, right? And leverage, which is probably a better way to explain their quote-unquote strength. But that's not as fun. We know from movies like Icarus that the Russians have no problem doping their athletes. I mean, I haven't even seen that movie, though I have listened to multiple breakdowns. I've listened to one of the guys involved making it on podcasts and such, and I know that it was uncovered through that documentary that all of the Russian athletes in like the Sochi Olympics or whatever, whichever one it was, where they had won like all of their gold medals, turned out that they were all on fucking steroids. They say that the only ones that weren't were the figure skaters, but who knows? The figure skaters could have been on some shit that weren't detectable. Or not detectable with just a simple, like, test. Because we've learned from fighters like TJ Dillashaw that they don't really test you for EPO unless you've got other markers in your blood that might suggest that there's further investigation needs to occur. So I think Dustin Poirier's articulation of why they are so good and so hard to like get off of you is probably more appropriate, but Bobby Green's is more fun. And we know that Russians are willing to do that. We also know, to tie this back to another genetic freak, that other communist regimes are willing to do this. And you can tell me all you want that nowadays, like, Russia's not communist and blah, 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 blah. That's just left-wing cope. Russia's not right-wing. They're nationalist, but you don't have to be right-wing to be nationalist. They were a communist country forever. And communist governments oversee everything, essentially. This happened in Cuba, too, with, like I said, another genetic freak. Once upon a time, there was a 500-year-old vampire who somehow was able to rule the middleweight division without getting a championship. The people's champ, Yoel Romero. We all know him and love him. The guy looks like he's on all the shit in the world. And he came from Cuba. And if any of you have listened to his episode on the Joe Rogan Experience, you will have heard him explain his athletic upbringing in extreme detail with a half-ass translator in Joey Diaz. And it's pretty crazy, man. State-sponsored everything. Because in those communist regimes, dude, they take over all that shit. They want to control all of it. If you were a better athlete, you'd get more meals. If you know, there was a bunch of different weird shit. It's been a long time since I've listened to it. You should check it out. It's pretty interesting. Actually, not pretty interesting. It's extremely interesting. Hearing it firsthand from a guy like that who grew up in like essentially an athletic camp, state sponsored. It is possible that he was experimented on or given drugs of some sort to enhance his body. There's that one story. Now, this could be bullshit. I don't know how someone could conjure up such a detailed and specific lie. But in the Robert Whittaker fight, the second one, Rob, I believe it was either a left hook or I can't remember, left hook or a right high kick. I don't even remember what side it was on. Yoel Romero broke his orbital bone, though. And I remember hearing the story on two separate occasions, because one, it was brought up by Joe Rogan, secondhand telling from Dana White. Then at a press conference, a reporter or journalist, MMA journalist, asked Dana White about it. And he kind of reiterated it and actually confirmed it and seemed to keep the same story that he had allegedly told Joe. That after Yoel Romero's fight, where he had broken his orbital bone and he went to go see the doctor, the fracture had already started healing itself. And that doctor, who's been practicing for 40, 50 years or whatever the fuck, told Dana White that he has never seen another human like this. And Dana goes, yeah, I know he's a specimen, right? That doctor goes, no. The tendons in behind his eye are 3 times the size of a normal human. Dana was like, what the fuck? Dude, Yoel Romero's neck is 3 times the size of a normal human. That guy's built like a fucking pit bull. Like, literally. But one that they used to fight, that they've, like, injected a bunch of fucking steroids into, and HGH and testosterone and whatever else. Like, he's got no neck. It starts up here and goes down to his shoulders. That's why no one's fucking knocked him out. His shit is tight, my guy. It's like when you're playing tetherball if that ball's wrapped around the pole, you can't really move it, right? Imagine the chain is like his spinal cord that leads shut off his brain. That shit's tight, daddy. He can't. Nobody's knocking him out. It's almost not fair. A huge bowling ball head with a big fucking thick neck. I mean, he is a freak. He's a specimen. He's in his 40s and he still looks like this. I remember when Robert Whittaker, this was in the second fight, I thought it could have been a draw. I love Robert Whittaker. I don't think Yoel Romero won that fight, but I think it could have been a draw. But there was one point where Robert Whittaker landed his patented 1-2 right high kick, and it was perfect. Foot wrapped around the back of the head, just clean as could be. Sounded like a home run. I remember Jimmy Smith said that. Yoel Romero took a staggered step, and that was it. All this to say, it's very well possible that, because then I went back and saw the Islam Makhachev interview where he is talking about this. He says, yeah, at school, in Russia, whatever, Dagestan, which is fucking Russia, or part of Russia, they would make them take vitamins, and he listed a few other things like isotopes or something, he said, at school. And Khabib, I would imagine, went to the same school and was in the same athletic programs as he was, since they've grown up together since childhood. It is very fucking possible that they were getting, well, at least I think, in my opinion, which is not professional nor medical. We need Derek for More Plates, More Dates to answer this question. It's very possible, in my opinion, that he could have been given human growth hormone or testosterone as a child. I don't understand the biochemistry of it, and I'm not going to pretend to. But I would imagine if one microdosed their entire life, especially during peak progression, your body's growing at a rapid pace when you're young, I wonder if that would somehow offset the side effects of stopping. I mean, if you look at them both, dude, they're both big, Khabib, and Islam. Both big, burly, hairy men. Both have had opponents claim that they are superhuman strong. Both can control guys no fucking problem. Stories of both of them holding down giant middleweights like Luke fucking Rockhold, who, despite what you may think of him now, we all know, if you're objective about it, has an incredible ground game. And Khabib and Islam can hold him down. I think it's totally possible that they were just fucking pumped up full of growth hormone and shit. I don't know if I just don't really know how growth hormone works. I don't know if they should be taller or what the fuck, but it's just strange. I get that being from that part of the world could create hardened, stronger men. But I just don't know if it works like that. Growing up in the favelas in Brazil couldn't be fun, that would probably harden you. But I don't think Charles Oliveira is the same strength level as Islam Makhachev. I think it's totally possible. We literally have evidence that Russia's done this. The Olympic Committee or whatever the fuck had to go back in time and did they not take their Olympics or their Olympic gold medals away? I think they might have. I almost just said that as a matter of fact, and I have no fucking clue. But they're willing to juice up their athletes. Why would they not be willing to attempt to create super athletes from childhood. There's also that, I can't remember his name. Another heard it on Joe Rogan type deal here. Some crazy Russian wrestler. They call him like the Bear or something. He's this big giant man, totally hairy, like 6'10", ginormous monster of a man. He's like gotta be an experiment, or it's suspected that he was, because I think they say both his parents were like extremely tiny people. I mean, okay, it's a pretty big accusation. Strong charge from Bobby Green here, especially coming back after a fucking USADA suspension. But I think he might have a point. And I think it's funny that, like, Islam, if he knew that that's what was happening, I don't think he'd bring it up in an interview. I think that if he had known later in life that they were getting pumped up with, like, HGH and fucking testosterone since childhood, he wouldn't be openly saying in interviews, like, yeah, man, our school used to make us take vitamins and shit like that every day with breakfast or whatever. I don't think he would just offer up that information. And hey, technically not breaking any rules. Because, like I was saying, like, if you microdose up to a certain point and then stop taking it, like, perhaps you won't have negative effects, and then you've just had years and years and years of positive ones, and now you can piss clean and blood test clean, and you just look like a fucking freak. Yeah, but anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Islam and Khabib, Yoel Romero, were pumped up with fucking steroids and shit from their communist fucking governments? Or do you think Dustin Poirier's probably got the more likely explanation? Anyways, let me know. Like and subscribe, please, you fucks. Ta-ta. See you later.